Hey everybody, it's Mr. Clint with CCUA. So we are back with one more virtual farm to school lesson. And we are going to take a field trip, a little tour, all around Columbia's Agriculture Park. And we are lucky enough today to have a few people that are going to talk with us about how this whole project came together and where it's going. Right behind me, I've got the one-room schoolhouse. Not a whole lot to see in here right now as we get things built, but you can see we've got some tables and benches set up where we did a composting activity today. We've got our raised garden beds over here in the outdoor classroom. Again, not a whole lot to see, but we do have some little baby plants starting to grow. So I suppose, let's get this tour started. Oh, hey, how's it going, Billy?
Hey there, Mr. Clint. How's it going?
Pulling some weeds out here?
Yep, always weeds to pull.
Actually, it's crazy to run into you like this. We were just getting ready to talk a little bit about the history of Columbia's Agriculture Park.
Well, I know a little bit about that.
But before we talk about that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself to our friends watching today?
Sure. Hey there, my name is Billy Polanski. I'm the Executive Director of Columbia Center for Urban Agriculture, which means that I get to do a little bit of everything. I get to do all kinds of fun stuff here at CCUA so we can have more gardens and more food and more fun.
What is Columbia's Agriculture Park?
So this is a city park, but it's got some different things. It's really a park that kind of tells the story of where your food comes from, and you can eat a little bit of it while you're here.
That's one thing I'm really looking forward to about having our groups back out here is, you know, we can talk about a lot over videos, but can't taste food over a video.
And it tastes better in person.
It sure does. Now that we have an idea of what's going on here now, it's, you know, focused on agriculture and our food and where it comes from. It's my understanding that the history of the park has a little bit to do with that as well.
You know, history has a funny thing, it kind of repeats itself. And so this place right here used to be the Boone County Fairgrounds. And the fairgrounds were a place where people would come to show off different parts of agriculture, like different livestock or, you know, different fruits and vegetables too. That was back in the 1940s to the 1990s, before any of you were born, maybe even before some of your teachers were born. And now we have the Agriculture Park today, which can exhibit and show off some fun parts of agriculture now.
Before we go, I do want to ask you just one more thing that we're going to talk to everybody about.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part, or perhaps the coolest thing that you've seen happen at Columbia's Agriculture Park?
I don't really like picking favorites, but a really cool thing that I think a lot of you will like is the playground. We have this really neat farm-themed playground, and it's a really neat thing that brings people out here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Billy. We're going to keep walking. We got a lot of stuff to see today.
All right.
But we'll catch you next time.
See you, Mr. Clint.
All right, y'all, so it's starting to rain, so we're gonna hop inside for our next tour stop. This is our greenhouse, and we're just gonna take a quick look and see what's growing. Oh, well, hey, look who it is!
Hi, Mr. Clint.
Hi, kids. So I'm Beth.
And I'm Ian.
And together we work at the Ag Park and we grow all of the different vegetables, fruits and vegetables that CCUA uses in their programming.
What is a greenhouse?
That's a great question. A greenhouse is a building that helps keep the environment inside warm for plants to grow. Plants don't like it cold. And so what a greenhouse does is it acts kind of like a car. If you've ever gotten in a car in the middle of summer, that's kind of how a greenhouse acts. It keeps this area really hot so the plants have a chance to grow. A lot of this goes out into the field and then is donated to the food pantry, but some of it is grown at people's houses and some is even sent to schools around our community.
So we like to have fresh fruits and vegetables available for people for as much of the year as possible. And if we were only using the amount of time that Missouri has for summer, it would be a very small window of time that we could have fresh produce.
How cool. So having this greenhouse means that we can grow more food for a longer amount of time?
That's exactly right.
That sounds pretty helpful to me.
So we have a whole variety of different things growing here.
Beets.
Beets. We've got Swiss chard. What else do you see, Ian?
Scallions.
Scallions, like onions.
We got lettuces.
We've got collard greens.
Kohlrabi.
kale.
How come some of those plant starts look so similar to each other?
Some of them are in the same family, like kale and kohlrabi. They're called brassicas, and so their leaves will look very similar until the plants get bigger.
Huh, how neat. So how do you tell them apart when they're so closely together?
We label them.
So a lot of times, yeah, when we plant them, so all of these plants started as little tiny seeds. And when we did that, we put in a specific label so that as they would go throughout their journey here in the greenhouse, getting bigger and bigger and eventually out to the field, we could be absolutely certain what was in that tray. I like it when people stop by and visit. I like being able to give people tours and hear people's questions about the ag park and be able to show them everything that we do here.
Yeah, people really seem to love walking by and just seeing how the garden develops over the year and see the plants grow as the summer progresses.
Thanks, y'all. We'll see you later.
Bye!
Bye!
Hey everybody, it's me, Saxon. Do you want to have a garden in your yard? Well, in my new job, I get to help you with exactly that. It's called Opportunity Garden. We go to families' homes and install gardens. We provide plants and seeds and tools and soil. And we do mentoring and support for any questions or problems you have. So if you're interested, it's free and it's really fun. You can go on our website, there's a link in the description below. With your family, fill out an application and see if you qualify. I'm looking forward to gardening with you.
So here we are in our barn for our next stop on our ag park tour. Wait a second, is that, oh!
Mr. Clint! Good to see you again. Well, this is where we keep all the tools that we use to build out the ag park.
Interesting. What are some of the tools that we have?
A tractor? Yeah, we use it to move really heavy stuff.
We have a lot of wheelbarrows and shovels and rakes.
And hoes and mattocks and hammers.
So every time we use a tool, we then bring it back to the barn and we rinse it off of all the mud and all the dirt that it's picked up. And then we put it back in its spot so that the next time someone needs that tool, they know right where to go to get it.
And it's clean and ready to use.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good system.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing us the barn, y'all. You ready to go to our next stop, everybody? Oh, and look, here's Carrie. Hey, Carrie.
Oh, hey, Mr. Clint. How are you?
You getting some tools ready?
Yeah, I was just going to go do a little weeding in the Rainwater Detention Basin. Do you want to come see?
Perfect. Yes.
Awesome. Let's go. We've got these raincoats here if you want to take one.
Oh my goodness, how convenient.
I know.
Dry and ready to go. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your role in the agriculture park?
Yeah, I am the operations director. So I kind of just support all of the people who actually are out here and working and providing programming.
And part of that was helping to design and build this.
This is the biggest rainwater detention basin in Columbia. That is not just a pond. So it collects a whole bunch of water when it's raining and then slowly it exits through that concrete weir and then slowly lets it into the streams.
That water, when it flows through the storm drains, that doesn't get treated or it doesn't go to some sort of water plant, right? It just goes right into our streams and rivers?
That's true, it just goes straight in. And so something like this is important because it holds the water, it lets it kind of percolate into the soil, but also all of these plants, they filter the water as it exits the rainwater basin so that it's a little bit cleaner when it leaves.
Awesome. What are some of the plants we got growing down here?
Well, we have a lot of cattails, which is something we're trying to keep in check. Cattails in a small amount are really good, but they can take over really quickly.
Do we have any aquatic tubers growing down here?
It's got a lot of different names, but one of the names is duck potato, and they grow these underground tubers and they grow in the water, and they're called duck potatoes because ducks and other waterfowl like to eat them, and so they stick their little heads under and they eat the tubers. And then
are there ever any ducks out here?
Ducks sometimes. We more often have geese out here, which is actually why we have all of this string right next to you, is there are some plants in here that the geese would eat too fast, and we're trying to get them established. So this netting that we put up is supposed to keep the geese from landing in here and eating all of our young plants before they're established.
Cool.
But in other bird news, we also have a lot of other kind of like water birds. So we have killdeer, which is another like shore bird, and that is only because we have this rainwater detention basin, and we have this water source that those birds are attracted to.
So not only is this rainwater detention basin filtering out things in the water, cleaning it up before it goes into our streams and waterways, we're also able to utilize it to grow different types of food than we normally would be, and provide habitat for wildlife all at the same time?
Yep, exactly.
Wild. Sounds like a win-win-win situation.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm curious about our watershed address. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about where the water, when it does flow into the weir, where it ends up.
When it exits the weir, it enters Harmony Creek, which Harmony Creek flows into Perchie Creek, which that flows into the Missouri River, which flows into the Mississippi River, which goes into the Gulf of Mexico, and then the Atlantic Ocean.
So what we're doing here is really doing a service to our neighbors downstream, so that we are not just sending all of our trash and pollution down the river for them to deal with.
Exactly.
Just one wrap-up question. What is your favorite part, or what do you think is the coolest part about Columbia's agriculture park?
My favorite part of it is just like what the heart of the park is. Through just demonstrating what you can do in your backyard at the agriculture park, we can really change how people view their yards and also eat from their yards, which is really exciting. Like we say, everybody eats, so it's like the common denominator amongst all of us. Like we all eat, and so let's all eat more vegetables.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me out here, Carrie.
Oh yeah.
Next time I'll bring my own digging fork and help you pull some of these cattails out.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon, though.
Yeah, it was great seeing you. I'll keep weeding.
Squish, squish. The next stop on our tour, we are going to take a look out at our field rows over here. This is where the bulk of the food production happens at Columbia's Agriculture Park. Oh, actually, is that our farm manager, Tony, I see over there?
Oh, hey y'all.
Hey, do you mind if I come over there and ask you a few questions?
Sure, Clint, come on over.
Let me just get over all this grass here. All right, hey Tony, we are out here in the cover crop. You can see all this fun, what is this we got growing around us here?
Well, these tall clumps of a grass here is ryegrass, and we use this to build soil over the winter. It thrives in all the cold weather, and its roots till through the soil and loosen things up for future plants.
And so this is all in preparation to turn this into more garden space, right? More space for growing food?
Yep, this will be a continuation of all these beautiful rows of vegetables behind me here. As far as you can see in the park, there's plants growing that we're putting in to attract pollinators and different birds. But beyond this area right here are all of our vegetables that will eventually continue in this area. We're building soil right now. We like to rotate our crops around the field every year. So each of 4 different quadrants, there's 4 different areas, will move in kind of the direction a clock moves in the field. We've got a bunch of things under cover because of the cold temperatures we've had. We're keeping them warm, but we've got cabbages and kale and collard greens and turnips and bok choy, and
making me hungry.
Could keep going on and on.
How much food can we produce in this site?
Over 10 tons. So the last several years we've always donated over 15,000 pounds to pantries. This past year we got up to 23,000 pounds.
Wow.
So it's way more than I could fit in many truckloads. And we take all of that to local pantries, especially the Central Pantry in Columbia. So we have a really good relationship with them and making sure our produce gets to the folks that need it.
23,000 pounds of food straight to local families.
Fresh as it gets.
Truly. So this looks like it's a lot of work to maintain. How do you keep up with it? I just see you out here right now. Is it just you coming out here and picking the weeds and hand watering?
No, I've got a whole crew, both on site as staff, AmeriCorps Vista volunteers, as well as a huge community of volunteers from the Columbia area. So many hands getting dirty here, all involved in producing really great local fresh food for the Columbia folks.
Another question, more of a personal one. What is your favorite thing to grow out here?
Ooh. I love growing sweet potatoes, big old orange plump sweet potatoes. On one of these 100-foot beds, we can pull hundreds of pounds of sweet potatoes out of each individual bed.
Wow, I remember a few years ago when we got that 10-pounder.
Oh yeah.
We're all taking the Heisman Trophy photos.
because we have so many different kinds of growing areas here, I get to experience all the different seasons of the year in Columbia and see the way lives of all the animals in our area change throughout the season. And we're also bringing a lot of life back to areas of Columbia by creating all of this habitat. So the amount of butterflies and bees and things I get to see here every day wow me every day.
Well, how cool. Well, Tony, thanks again for taking some time out of your, I'm sure, busy schedule.
Thanks
keeping
for
up
grabbing
with all
me.
this.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Clint.
We're here at our next stop on our Ag Park tour. We are in the food forest. And we have our friend Matthew here with us today to tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my name is Matthew. I'm from here in Columbia, and my role here is managing this food forest area, as well as an area called the Backyard Demonstration Garden.
What in the world is a food forest?
Well, a food forest, one way to kind of think of it is it's a little bit like an orchard, all right? So we have fruit trees that are growing right now that are going to be producing fruits and nuts. But then in addition to those fruit trees, we're also going to be planting berry bushes. We're going to be planting herbs and different perennial vegetables that grow around those trees.
So how long until we start seeing fruit on these trees?
So it actually is a good lesson in patience when you're growing a fruit tree, because when you plant an apple tree, you have to wait about 4 years maybe until you first see your first apple. With a pear tree, you have to wait about 5 or 6 years before you see your first pear.
Oh my goodness.
Now peach trees, they're speedy. Maybe 3 years in is when you can get your first peach.
What are some other trees that we have growing here in our food forest?
Well, we have in this area we actually have some pretty fun trees. Some stuff you've probably never heard of before. So one of them is actually had some fruit last year. It's called a jujube tree. Some of the trees we're growing, people are familiar with in other parts of the world. We are able to grow them here, but you probably can't find them at a supermarket.
I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about for the food forest is an opportunity to showcase all these crazy and weird and kooky fruits and vegetables that we can grow and are very able to grow here, but for some reason or another, we just don't have available to us most of the time.
Once we put this pathway in, and you guys are welcome to come and take a walk around it, and just imagining what it's gonna look like one day, you know, with the trees up shading the pathway, with things growing along the side, you know, with everything labeled so people can learn as they walk, you know, like, hey, what's that? Oh, I could try growing, you know, valerian at home, you know. I'm really excited to just see what it's gonna look like in the future once it's all grown up, you know. So this part is probably what I'm most excited about.
Cool. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to see you around the park.
We're on the next stop on our tour here.
Yeah, I'm Adam Saunders. I work here at CCUA. I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the development director. So I get to talk to a lot of folks about the park, about the work of CCUA, and try to raise money and help get people excited to come out and use the park.
We've talked about a lot of the different aspects of the park. We've seen the pavilion, we have looked at the barn, the greenhouse, the schoolhouse, the fields. But the park's not done yet, right?
No, not yet.
So what's left? What do we still have to look forward to?
Well, there's a lot happening right now. Billy and I are working on the arbor here. This is part of the backyard demonstration garden, and Adam was over here tilling up some garden beds, new raised beds. So this is a place to showcase the home scale, what you can do in your backyard. So that's just one of the many different spots within this broader park to help folks like you at home, at school, to put gardens in and to eat from your garden.
Yeah, I'm especially excited for the demonstration garden. I think that's going to be such a cool spot for people to come out and walk around and see the different types of garden beds they could build in their house.
And it changes through the year. You know, we're here in the spring, the different plants as they grow up and die and as they come ripe. It's a fun thing to see that progression from week to week to week throughout the year. And then with these trees, I love trees, as they get bigger over the years and establish that canopy and that kind of like bigger level of our project here.
Maybe a little bit of a windbreak too, huh?
Hopefully. It is a windy site, so always hold on to your hat.
How long is it going to take for the park to be done?
To be done or done?
Yeah.
That's a great question. It's kind of a a couple of different factors. We need to have the money to build our event kitchen resource center, so that'll have an amazing learning kitchen for folks to come out there and y'all students to come out and to prep some food and to cook food. We're working on the wings, the fundraise the roof campaign to finish the wings. That'll be built next winter. There's a ton of garden stuff that's going to continue to roll out over the course of a couple years, and the schoolhouse, the demonstrations, all these things are continue to develop over the coming year, couple 2 years, three, 4 years, depending on how we go.
Yep, but I think we're making some great progress out here. It's looking better every day.
Yeah, I equate the ag park as a big onion. There's a lot of layers to it, and so whether you're students like you all who are learning about this stuff, all these different folks, they all eat food, right? You all eat food, and like to eat good food, right? And so how do we help make that easier? How do we tie that into our healthcare system? How do we support our farmers? How do we get our next generation of farmers? Like, the fact that it touches everybody in different ways is a fun aspect of it for me.
Awesome. Well, Adam, thanks so much for taking some time. I know y'all are hard at work here getting this arbor built, so we'll let you get back to it.
Here we go.
Got your hammer all ready.
See you all at the park. Thank you. All right, Billy. Drive them home.
Now that we've had a look at all the different cool features around the ag park, I thought it'd be fun to take a little trip through time to Saturday to see what this place looks like during Columbia's Farmers Market. So we're just gonna do a little twirl here and let the wind blow us into next week. Hey everybody, we're here at the MU Healthcare Pavilion at the Columbia Farmers Market with Corrina Smith, the manager of the Farmers Market.
So as Clint said, I'm the manager, the director here for the Farmers Market, and I basically oversee all the day-to-day operations, and I also work really closely with the vendors and helping them get into the market. It's a little background about me. I was born and raised here in central Missouri, and I lived in New Orleans for a few years, and that's where my love of local food and farmers markets really started to grow.
For some of our friends watching that might not be familiar with what a farmer's market is, can you describe a little bit about what a farmer's market does for the community?
I mean, the farmer's market is really just this central location where farmers and bakers and ranchers all come together and sell their goods in one location to the public.
So what makes Columbia Farmers Market special in general?
This is our 41st year. We opened in 1980. So we've been in Columbia for a long time. I like to say that we were local before local was a trend. This whole site here at the Ag Park used to be the Boone County Fairground. We're open year-round every single Saturday. Rain, shine, snow, pandemic, we're open.
What other services does Columbia Farmers Market offer to the growing and buying communities?
Yeah, so we have a lot of programs that we offer. Some are in partnership with other organizations. Our Access to Healthy Food SNAP matching program. So that's in partnership with our sister organization, Sustainable Farms and Communities. Kids activities, which we partner with Clint and the Columbia Center for Urban Ag. It's the Saturday place to be. In normal days, we've got live music. We also like to partner with local chefs and do cooking demos. We have an ambassador program where we have market staff provide tours, which we are doing those right now. If people haven't ever been to the shop market and they want some tips, the coolest thing is to really have seen our community come together on this. Just this unification of all these organizations, CCUA, Sustainable Farms and Communities, the Farmers Market, Parks and Rec, all coming together and building this. And then on top of that, like all of the donations that have come just from our community, I think is just, it's really special to know how important our organizations are to Columbia.
I think I'd have to agree with you. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Meet you at the farmers market.
See everybody on Saturdays.
Thanks for coming out to the Ag Park with us today, everybody. But this is actually going to be our final Farm to School video of the year. And we are so far beyond excited to be able to have you out here in person next year. We can go and do our tour like we normally would, have some fun activities, and even taste a little bit of spinach. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.